discovered the universal law of laziness. What's the law? What is a law of physics? Can anyone tell me? What makes something a law versus a theory?
Law is something that is true and that you have to realize.
Well, you're right. A law in physics, a law in science, is something that will always, always, always apply. Something that's always true. It does not change. It does not change with time. It doesn't change with location. Newton's laws are true even in outer space. It doesn't matter where you are. They're true. An object in motion tends to stay in motion. An object at rest tends to stay at rest. Universal law of laziness. Ladies and gentlemen, the universe is lazy. Whatever something is doing right now, it just wants to keep doing it. It doesn't like change. So an object in motion will keep moving, and an object at rest will keep resting unless acted upon by another force. So if I have it on the table and I push it, it will indeed move. If I have it rolling down that hill and I walk in front of it, I can stop it, right? Now this has directly to do with mass. What is mass? Can anyone tell me?
Weight or
No.
area.
Okay. So to have weight, you need gravity. If you go to the moon, your weight's different, right?
Yeah.
Now, mass is the amount of stuff inside of an object. The amount of matter inside of an object. If you go to the moon, will there be a different amount of stuff inside you?
No.
I was just saying, what? Really? Seriously?
Not a trip went, right?
Yeah, it's true. It's true. If you got car sick on the way, maybe not. But generally, your mass will not change if you go into a different gravity environment. Your weight will. If you are in 0G, will you suddenly have less stuff inside of you? No. That's the difference between mass and weight. Now, here on Earth, the gravity is the same everywhere you go, right? So we can actually measure mass using weight. If I have two things with exactly the same amount of stuff in them, and I put them on a scale, they'll also weigh the same. So the way we usually measure mass on Earth is by weighing things. But it's different from weight. It's just a way of finding out. So, basically, if I roll this ball down the hill and you get in the way, you can stop it, right? Because you have more mass. How about if I have a gigantic bowling ball for a giant made out of solid lead? If I start that rolling down that hill, do you want to get in its way? No. Will you be able to stop it? No. What has greater inertia, the ball or you? The ball. At that point, the ball will have greater inertia, a greater power of laziness. Inertia is just a fancy way of saying the power of laziness. So it's true of everything in the universe. So that's why it's a law. It's always true. Now another part of that law, that an object in motion tends to stay in motion, an object at rest tends to stay at rest unless acted upon by another force, is every action has an equal but opposite reaction. So everyone go ahead and take your hand and whack the table. As we discovered earlier, the table has much greater mass than your hand. We're not going to move the table. Very much, anyway. Almost all of that force goes right back into your hand. Equal but opposite reaction. Now, if I took the same amount of force and whacked this ball, I probably would hurt my hand. The ball would probably be flying over there. So that was a different kind of equal but opposite reaction, right? But it's still the same amount of force just going in a different direction. So that is another interesting physical law. And we can demonstrate it, since there are very few people here, we'll just all do it with Play-Doh. Go ahead, take some Play-Doh and roll it into a ball for me.
I get to do something too? Alright.
Go ahead and roll it on up into the best ball you can make. Now, what do you think will happen? What will the equal but opposite reaction be if we all throw this at the floor as hard?
It's probably going to bounce, but it might have possession.
You're right. It will actually, it usually does both. Now, the more perfectly round your ball, the better it will bounce. And if it's already a little flat, it will flatten your ball, so it'll compress more. So just depending. Now, oftentimes it's both. You'll get a little flat spot and it will bounce. Different things can happen, just depending. But there will be an equal but opposite reaction. They're going to take a couple steps back and go ahead and throw your ball at the floor as hard as you can. Whack! Okay, mine bounced really well. Yay! The harder you throw it, the more it will bounce and the flatter your flat spot will be. The amount of force you apply will dictate how big the reaction is because it will be equal but opposite. And that's the answer to your first question. If force is applied to an object, there will be an equal but opposite reaction. True every time. It's a law.